right, today gonna have a little backcountry adventure. Gonna ride the snowmobile up into this valley. Hopefully find a place to camp out. I'm gonna drag a jet sled behind it. First things first, we gotta go to O'Reilly and get a new snowmobile battery. The battery's been pretty weak in this one. We had some negative temperatures and I think they kind of put the final nail in the coffin. All right, so we got a AGM battery, absorbed glass mat. This is the first AGM battery I've ever gotten. And the advantage to this over traditional lead acid batteries is that these don't freeze. That's a pretty practical application for a snowmobile battery. So okay, so this is the old 600 triple engine. This is an old sled. It's kind of a beater, but it's got pretty low miles and it's got a good reliable engine in it. The suspension's pretty clapped out, but I can make do with it. Okay, so that other battery was the wrong size. I had to go get the right size. I didn't double check the dimensions. Rookie mistake on my part. You never appreciate how dead your battery is until you put a new one in it and you see it spin over the engine super fast. So a little bit of this in the gas tank too. All right, we're almost there. 35 degrees, kind of foggy. It looks like it might be snowing some up in the hills. All right, just pulled into the parking lot. So there's a few people around. It's a little bit later in the day, so my guess is people got out here earlier. I'm taking a snowmobile trail that's groomed up a little valley here. My guess is it's not going to be in like groomed snowmobile kind of shape. I think it's probably going to be pretty rough. Okay, trailer is on. I'm going to put a cover on it. It's going to be interesting. I think this stuff might want to bounce out once I get on the track, so we'll see how it does. Okay, that says burned area. Beware of falling trees, limbs, rolling rocks, and flash floods. And this is actually pulling really nicely behind the sled. Yeah, this little setup's working great. This is just like the Jet Sled brand trailer tongue or whatever you would call it. All right, so I'm getting deeper up in here. It's definitely not that cold. Although it's maybe a little colder than I anticipated. You can see this big canyon behind me that I just came through. It's pretty epic. Big mountain up here. Pretty incredible view. And the Polaris is just chugging along, so I'm gonna keep on headed up. There's some really big elk tracks here in the snow, which is kind of crazy. Usually they're kind of long gone. There you go. Usually they're kind of long gone from this area this late in the year. right, I made it to a little spot here. A little clearing right there, I think is where I'm gonna set up. But if I can kind of dig that out a little bit and set up the TP with the wood stove, that'll be preferred. First things first, I put on my snowshoes here. Snowshoes kind of suck. I don't really like walking around in them, but they're pretty good for packing down snow when you're making a campsite. The other thing is I got to figure out if I'm actually going to be able to dig down the dirt. I mean, I could like sleep on the snow. I've done it before. Sleeping on the snow is cold. It's kind of miserable. It's way better to dig it out to the ground if you can do that. So I'm going to check it out and see how it looks. Sled pulled great, as you can see. It's kind of covered, but everything inside of it is dry. Okay, so I made an executive decision to abandon the dig out and just stomp it down. In worst case scenario, I can always do a hot water bottle, which is kind of the holy grail of staying warm in the wintertime. All right, did something dumb on the snowmobile. Not snowmobiling if you don't do something dumb, so. Long story. I'm gonna try to get it out real quick. All right, so my campsite's right here. I was gonna try to, I don't know, this was probably dumb, but I was gonna try to pack the snow down in the kind of ditch here. So I kind of did one pass through. You can kind of see where I tried to pack it down. And I came down here to turn around. I got the fucking sled in the ditch and it's in there good. I gotta dig it out, which sucks. So I wanted to make a YouTube video. I got what I was asking for. At least it's not super far from where my gear is. And then, I tried to get it out. Of course, I dug it in even more, so I better just get my ass to work, though, because it's in there pretty good. So, my plan is, I kind of dug it out a little bit. My plan is to try to get it out in one shot, and then if not, and I went and bought a come-along, a little small one, and I put that come-along in the back seat here, and I got a 50-foot non-stretch, like four-wheeler winch cable from Harbor Freight or something. I'm going to use that. I'm going to anchor it on those trees. I'm going to come along this bad boy out of the snow. So my guess is it's probably not going to come out, and I'm going to have to use the come along, but the digging fucking sucks. I got this new tripod that I was going to use, and the damn piece fell out of it that holds your phone. So, winter gear, outdoor, backcountry, weird stuff happening to gear happens all the time. It snows like way deeper than I thought, which is a good thing in some ways, and then also adds a whole other element, obviously. Let's see. Hey, who needs a tripod, right? That winch thing. We'll see how it does.
My wife always, my wife is always like, don't get stuck. So here I did, went and got stuck. Well, I got it out, but I didn't get it on video. You can see how deep the hole is there. Okay, yeah, you can kind of see how deep it is. Went all the way down to the dirt, which sucks, but I got it out. Took about an hour. Not very fun. And I had to drive all the way down to the junction to turn around into main trail. Just gonna pull right up here off the side and set up camp. And then in the morning, there's another turnaround junction up there I can drive up to. I wish I would have got it on video. That would have been quality YouTube drama. But yeah, basically when you get one stuck, you gotta dig. You gotta squish all the snow out from around the bottom. If you can get a little bit of traction in the back and go back and forth, that helps. I tie up the flap there, as you can see, because what happens is that flap gets stuck underneath there and kind of makes the track dig down in the snow. So just real quick, this come along setup actually worked well, but I was worried I was going to break the bumper off of my sled. But the rope, it did not stretch. I tied it in a knot, which is probably, you know, horrible form. Recovery experts are probably absolutely appalled with this setup, but it definitely would have worked if I wasn't worried about yanking the bumper off. All right, back at camp, just right up the trail. We'll try to get a little better view here so you can actually see what the heck I'm doing. It's getting cold pretty quick. Sure is pretty out here though. Look at that. I think snow is actually one of the least impactful things you can camp on. Snow, and I think tidal pools maybe. So I kind of got a little dead man snow stake going on at each of these corners. In there. This is the real reason for coming out. I got a pretty serious new winter sleeping bag that I'm going to try out. So I'm excited about that. Shake out your down bag so it gets puffed up. Got this little ground sheet. I'm not going to spread it all the way out because I've got this giant sleeping pad, but I'm going to lay it up front so I can put some stuff on it. I always carry a PLB with me, just in case. It's a transmitter beacon, kind of like a spot pager or inReach. Only you can't talk on this thing. You just, you know, if you set it off, basically you're saying it's a life-threatening situation that I need help. So ACR is the company. They make all kinds of things like this. PLB, personal locator beacon. You have to register it with NOAA, and you have like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association administration, whatever. Send it back and have the battery replaced periodically. This one's due for a battery replacement in in June this year. Actually, I got to send it in. So it takes about 2 weeks. They send it in, put a new battery in it, send it back to you. It's waterproof, it's all sealed up. It's kind of a no-brainer, you know, kind of idiot-proof. Good thing to have. Here's my little tripod thing for my camera. Heck yeah, I didn't lose it. I'm gonna try to find maybe a little piece of firewood. It's 20 after 6, so you know it's not like I have a whole lot to do. Probably gonna find some firewood, try to saw it up, and get that little wood stove cranking. What a mess. Ooh. It's super quiet out here. It's like creepy quiet. Usually I camp near the creek. Man, it is like quiet out here. So sometimes that kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies at night. Oh, the moon just came up. Come on, yeah, you can see it right there. Hell yeah. Wow. This camera's got like a good night vision mode or whatever. All right, gonna keep sawing this wood up. Time to put this little stove together. It snapped right in exactly how it should be. Guess it'll melt all the snow underneath and go all the way down to the bottom. Probably get some condensation in here too, I'm guessing. Oh, man, I ain't drinking enough water. Zip fuel, baby. These things were good. Smell like kerosene. Carhartts are wet. Tell you not to wear cotton when you go out and stuff like this. Pair of insulated pants I'll put on. Quick dry. Oh, we got the little damper for the chimney. Huh. I don't have the damper. It's about to get cozy. I should have brought a little lantern with me like I did last time. I figured if the mantles wouldn't hold together in the back of the truck, they certainly wouldn't hold together in the back of a sled being dragged by a snowmobile. I watched a guy did a YouTube video one time, and apparently this was the best winter fuel. Ola Camp 4-season mix. MSR did well too. Tab popped off. Another weird backcountry thing. All right, so a lot's happened. We got the spruce boughs out of there. That was definitely not a good idea. Cut a couple pieces of firewood and set the legs on that. I also guyed out that end of the tent over there to a tree. You can kind of see how it's pulled that way. Just so this thing didn't flop against the chimney. So my buddy Eric gave me this axe. It's one of those Swedish ones that are really nice. This thing's been on all kinds of adventures, river trips, strapped to the back of wrap. It's what's it called? Hunger, whatever. I got a new sleeping bag, pretty serious sleeping bag. I'm kind of a cold sleeper. This is a negative 40 bag. It's got some Gore-Tex outer lining, so I think no matter what happens, I'll be okay in this thing tonight. Yeah, this thing just got rolling. Now it's starting to do that thing that hot tents do. I mean, you can see I guess you could probably see the steam coming off my gloves right there. It's getting really warm really quick in here. Everything's drying out. My boots aren't really wet, but I figured I'd give them a little bit of the heat. This thing is out of this world. Super warm. And the fact that it's got that kind of highly water resistant shell is a pretty good peace of mind doing this kind of stuff. It's an expensive bag. I got a hell of a deal on it. Couldn't turn down, so I went for it. I saw some guys up top, and they said they saw a moose with 2 calves. There's a big lake up here that you have to take a hiking trail to. Said there's a pretty good snowmobile track all the way to the lake, and they were like, you should go up there. They had really nice sleds, a whole lot nicer and newer than mine. I was like, man, probably not at the end of the day on my first trip up here by myself. But it might be worth checking out at some point. If the track is really that good all the way up there, that'd be awesome to go to that lake, drag that little jet sled behind and camp out up there. There's a lot of good campsites up there, a lot of firewood. All right, everybody, I'm gonna make some hot tea and call it a night. All right, so it's about 6 in the morning. Slept pretty darn good. Woke up a couple times, and then got a pretty good night of sleep. I'm gonna try to fire the stove up for a few. Decent amount of snow that came down last night. Well, maybe an inch or two, not a huge amount. You can see all that snow on there. Decent amount. Yeah. Maybe like a half an inch. Oh wow. You can see the fire shooting out of the chimney. That's pretty sick. How cool is that? This battery's getting lower and lower. Drying out the inside of this tent already. It's so warm. Shell of the sleeping bag works really well. This is all very dry, which is quite a peace of mind. Even the sled box down here, which against the tent here all night, I could feel moisture on it, but it was very, very warm and dry. A little lid I fixed with the rivets. All right, Ted wants his coffee. We're gonna fire up the stove. Coffee's ready. It's all downhill after this. All right, almost at the bottom. All right, time to load this stuff up. All right, loaded up and ready to roll. Fit a ramp and a jet sled in the back of a 6.5 foot pickup with a snowmobile. It says it's 28 degrees out here. I'm gonna guess the low got down to 18 or 15 or something last night. Sled's all loaded up in the back. it's head on down the road and try to get this stuff kind of cleaned up and dried out. Thanks for watching. It was quite an adventure. If you like the video, hit like and subscribe. It helps me out, and everybody take care.
Separated.